Hey folks, it is time for another daily tangle pattern. This is the last one for this week. We're using patterns that start with the letter A. So we have Amy, and this one is by Shazia, and it's a grid pattern. I really like it like this. This is awesome. I'm going to try it that way. So you draw your grid, and then within 4 squares you do another square that way. So you do like a triangle, 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 like that. And then inside that you do these little grid seeds, little seeds in the middle, and then you aura around those seeds inside each of the triangles. And then on the outside triangle part, you just do straight lines. And then you can fill in the middle there. And when you put them all together, creates this. I like the look of that a lot. I might play with the grid a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to make a complete straight grid, or if I'm going to do a little wonkiness happening. I'm going to start this with pencil and see what I feel like doing. Can I have a wonky grid with this one? What will that kind of look like? No, not really. It's not really a wonky grid pattern. At least not how I'm feeling it. Okay, so get rid of the wonky grid. All right. How about if I draw one, like I sometimes do, draw one kind of at an angle, a big one. Kind of right there. I like to do this. You've seen me do this before on these kind of grid ones. I'm going to go ahead and pop one in right there, and then I'm going to do a regular grid behind it. About that big. And I usually, when I'm doing a grid tangle, you'll note that I usually draw my grid in pencil first, just because I feel like I need that structure before I start drawing. Some people just go straight into the pen, but for me, I need that support of the pencil to know that I can erase it if I need to, if I'm really way off. Most of the time I'm good with it being, you know, not perfect, obviously, or I would use a ruler to make a grid, but that kind of helps me a little bit to give myself a basis to draw my lines, and then If I draw my lines exact, well, that's great. And if I don't, that's okay too. Okay. So something like this. I'm just going to start with my grid. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not drawing right on my pencil lines. I just used it as a starting point, as a stepping stone. I don't know if you can see that, but I didn't draw right on my pencil lines. And so I'll draw this, and then I will go back and just erase those lines I didn't use. And I am making these kind of small just because I know that 4 of these squares is equal to 1 of the design. So in order to make the scale be enough difference between the background and this larger tile, I went ahead and just made them really pretty small. Ooh, I'm a little crooked. Oh well, that's all right. Good enough. Okay, here we go. Now I need to erase the pencil so it doesn't get in my way. Just so I've got it nice and clean while I'm drawing. There we go. Okay. Now, I'm going to draw the big one first, and then I don't have to look at the step out anymore, and I'll be able to do the smaller ones using the big one as a guide. Goes like this. And then there's like a rice or a teardrop shape here. And it doesn't hit the middle, although I would think it would, but it doesn't. Look like watermelon seeds. And then there's a aura there, and an aura on this side. Should have made that a little bit closer to the there, but I think it's all right. Like that, and then these ones go this way. Okay, that's the basic pattern. Supposed to color in these seeds, and I'm going to do it in red. I'm going to give it a little pop of color. I feel like they needed that. And I also feel like I'm kind of far away from here to there. I think I might do this and really make that center pop like that. Something like that. There, I'm going to make the center really stand out. And then it's going to get shading right here. And I know I usually shade at the very end, but I want this big one to just stand apart. And that might help if I have it shaded while I'm working. Like that. I like that. Okay, so now one, two, 3, 4, and a seed. I'm going to do all of those lines first. Keep myself in the zone here. Oh, look at that. I drew the right number of squares to make it even. That doesn't happen often without me actually planning it. Normally I'd have like half a tile there. Okay, we're gonna work our way this direction, I think. I could be a little more precise with these little seed, but I don't feel like it, so I'm not going to. Here we go, see? Half. I knew it was rare that to end up, see, if I'd just done all of this part, when I got to this one, I'd be tempted to put the seed there, and that's not where the seed needs to be. The seed needs to be here, which is why I'm doing the seeds and those side ones as the same step. Does that make sense? I'd be tempted to be off. Okay, and then this one goes this way. And that one goes like that, with a seed there, one that you can't see, one that you kind of can't see, and then here, could have made this just a little bit bigger. I was so afraid that I would not have enough difference in scale from this one to these ones that I think I made it a little bit small. I made those seeds awfully big there in that first one. I need to make some more that has a bigger seed, just so that that one doesn't stand out quite so much. My seed's just a little bit fatter here. That's better. Okay. Okay, this one. And that one. Okay, and then this one's going this way. One here and here. This one fills in there. This one goes like that. And then this one goes this way. This one here. And this one goes that way with the top of one there. Right? I think so. I will find out when I start doing my stripies. Okay. You could just do that part and not do this middle. You could. I'm not going to, but you could. But this is really tight. I made my grid a little too small to be really effective as a tangle pattern. I mean, it'll still be fine, but it's a little bit tiny. I needed it to be just a smudge bit bigger, like half a tile larger. That's really tiny. Okay. Boy, that's tiny. I like it. I like the look of it. And it's not so bad when you get closer up. But it really is quite tiny. This is going to take a while. Sorry, folks. Didn't mean to draw it so small. Got a little carried away with my tiny squares. I don't think I have one with me. I could dig out my thinner micron, and that would help me make these tinier lines. But if I was going to do that, I needed to do that starting at the beginning, because switching pens now would be super obvious and not really beneficial to the work. So I'm not going to do that. I don't know if you guys can even see what I'm doing. I'm so tiny. Maybe if I zoom in, I'm going to end up off the page a little. I'm not careful, but maybe if I zoom in, you can see what I'm doing better. When you guys say, you know, I've got a wonky, I don't draw straight lines, or I have a wiggly hand. You see it all zoomed in like that, you can tell I have a wiggly hand. So you guys can do this. See? Okay, now this one is this one. That means this one goes this way. Right? That means this one has a curve. Just trying to remember which one's got which pattern in it. This one has this in it. Means this one will have that, and this one will have a curve going that way. Even though they're not very big little lines, these little lines here, I have to put them in. I'm trying to remember where the pattern, which way it goes. Can be a bit of a challenge when you give yourself a hard thing like an overlap. Certainly don't have to have an overlap, that's for sure. That's gonna go this way. Okay. Okay. I'm getting there, slowly but surely. I sure did challenge myself again. Tend to do that, don't I? Staying in frame, aren't I? I hope so. When I'm really zoomed in like this, it's hard for me to remember not to move my tile while I'm turning it, to just turn it in the same spot. Okay, and then these have curved ones going like that. And those go like that. And this will go like this. This one will come this way. And curves. Okay, one little corner left. All right. All right, let's see. These little seeds. And this one needs to go that way, and that way, and this way. Okay, back up. That's a pretty busy tile. I'm going to do my little shading thing. Right in the insides of those. Right in the insides of those. This is taking longer than I thought it would. Okay, let's blend those just a little. Is that helping? Or can't you really tell? Because it's so busy to start with. I don't really know. I think I need to make this one pop more by just really going at it here on the edge. Well, that made a dramatic difference. I like that. Okay, so this was, what was this called? How in the world did I have 3 missed calls? The phone didn't go off. How did I have 3 missed calls? Oh well. This was called Amy. Which direction do I want it to sit as my top and bottom? Either that way or that way, I think. This way. I think it's done that way. So let me zoom way in so you can see all its little nooks and crannies. Oops. Camera don't like that. There we go. See, when you zoom way in, I see all the flaws and imperfections. I can critique this and criticize myself all day long because, you know, that one doesn't look like this one, and it's crooked and it's not square, and all of those things. I could complain about all of those things, or I can zoom out to the big picture and I can say, wow, look at that awesome pattern. That's what I need to do. I need to stand back, I need to look at it from a distance, and I need to say to myself, you know what? Even with all of its idiosyncrasies and quirks, it is still absolutely beautiful, and I like it. I want to thank you guys for being with me this week, joining me in this adventure. I will see you next week. I wonder if we're doing ones that start with a B. I don't know. It's up to the group. Whoever's picking these, they do such a good job of picking these daily tangles, and I'm having so much fun. I want to thank you guys and have a nice rest of your day.